what is going on today's agenda. We've got to work on this car a little bit. I have some side skirt extensions that were on this car we're going to put back on. I needed them off to get the car onto the lift, so we'll put those on eventually. We'll put on the front lip that was also on the car. The car is locked, but there's a fuel pump right there that we're going to do so that we can start doing some data logging in this car for the tuner. Hey, what are you doing down here, buddy? Hey, hey, buddy. And then also, we're going to be taking the suspension off this car. It's got some KW V3 coilovers. I don't have a use for coilovers that nice, and these are also blown. So I have some lowering springs and OEM suspension that are going to go back on this thing, and I'm hoping it sits somewhat similar to what it is right now because I like how it sits. I also got a different exhaust because this is going to be my daily driver, and the N1s are just a little bit too loud for me. So over in this car yesterday, I picked up a OEM Subaru SPT exhaust. I had one on one of my previous hatchbacks and I really liked it, so I'm going to throw that on here and hopefully it sounds good. We do have a wastegate on this car, so if I want a little bit of loud noise, we have that accessible with just a push of the throttle. So that's the plan for today. Let's get rolling on it. We're going to get it in the barn and see how much we can knock out today. I think in my last video that you guys saw, it was taking delivery of that blue rear-wheel drive bug eye. If you missed it after this video, go ahead and click on that and check it out. We took it for a little spin. It's like a 400 wheel setup, rear-wheel drive. Needs a lot of little things, a lot of little love, but I'm excited for it to see what our plans are. On top of those things I mentioned, the skirts and the lip, other plans for today, we're going to pull this Cosworth Longblock apart. That came out of the Wu-Tang car originally. That will be today also. We're going to pull that apart, kind of see what that thing is. I don't know if it's closed deck. I don't know if it's built cylinder head. I don't know exactly what it is. Let's get rolling on this stuff. I'm excited. We got nice weather. I'm also getting married in about 3 weeks. So that is also really exciting. A little bit less than 3 weeks, actually. So I'll, of course, probably do a little video on that. Not going to do much, but let's get rolling on the Wu-Tang stuff. First thing I'm going to knock out, we're going to throw in this AEM fuel pump. The owner told me he thinks there's a Dietzwerks, I think that's how you say it, a Dietzwerks fuel pump in here, but AEM 40s always treat me good, and that's what I told the tuner, so we're going to throw that in there. These fuel pumps aren't too bad to replace. This seat comes out, this cover gets popped off, and then you got to pull the hanger out, and then sometimes getting the pump out of the hanger is the tough part. Other than that, it's pretty easy. There'll just be some jump clips, so I'll see you all in between those. There's a bunch of leaves and stuff sitting right around the top of the tank there, so if you have any of that when you're doing this, make sure before you take the hanger out with air, you just blow that all out of the way so it doesn't fall into the tank. Why is that tank so full? Just these little pop clips right here, and then this bottom piece comes off, and then we can get to the pump. Gotta unplug these connectors here. There's our pump. Make sure to clean this out. There's a little bit of gunk in there. This is the clip for the fuel pump, the connector. So I'm gonna unplug that like that. There's a little, I don't know if this is a ground wire right here that you gotta unplug like that. Then the wiring for the pump is free to drop out when we pull this pump out. Now, this pump can be really tough to get out. There's a little white tab right there and right here that you got to hold with screwdrivers, and then you honestly got to pull really tough on the pump. So I'm going to kind of set this up lightly in the vise, get screwdrivers in those tabs, and then I grab the bottom of this pump with channel locks and pull it out. That seems to be my best luck with getting the pump out. Otherwise, I seem to fight it for a while. I set this up in the vise, not tight, but so when I pull on it, it grabs onto the flanges of this hanger here. Then there's little white tabs here that you got to pry out. There are really good videos showing how this needs to be done. So if you really want a step-by-step, I'll try and find a good video, maybe one that I used. Then I'm going to grab on to the bottom of this pump. This is by no means a professional way to do it, but this is how I have okay luck doing it. Give it a little wiggle, just like that. Another important thing, if you see that O-ring up in there, your new pump comes with an O-ring, so you make sure to pull this one out. Whatever this AEM kit right here has, I'm going to put in because that's what I did on the last one, and that one works just fine. All right, AEM kit. There's the little pre-filter. So make sure that goes on. We do have 2 O-rings in here, so maybe I did do 2 O-rings on the last one. I can't remember. AEM 340, 85 compatible if needed. I'm not running E on this car, but that is what I do. Well, I'm not sure if the double O-ring is proper, but I can't remember if I did it in my last one. But I looked on Import Image Racing where I bought this, and it says use both of the O-rings and this OEM spacer here, which I knew about this spacer. I guess I'm just going to use it, see if it works. Make sure to put this on. I'm using the OEM wiring that came off the D-Schwartz pump. We just got to put this little star clip on here, and we'll pop it back in there, clean this out, and we'll be ready to boogie. All right, got this mounted up. I'm going to feed this wiring through here. We'll pop this in here and see this is correct. I don't think it would fit, or it might not fit if it isn't correct. All right, she clipped in, so I think the 2 O-rings is correct. Both tabs are locked in place. Perfect. Plug in the wiring like that. Then I'm going to clean this out. Make sure all this lines up correctly. This plugs back in. All right, we're good to pop this back in. After we put this back on, gonna clean up the outside. We should be good to go. Pump is in. I'm gonna make sure this thing fires up. Make sure I can hear the pump kick on. Make sure we don't have any leaks before I put the seat and the cover all back on. Let's do that real quick. For some reason, that tank was super full when I dropped the hanger back in. A bunch of fuel overflowed, so I got to clean that up underneath. I don't know what that reason was for. Never had one do that before. Look at that. The back of the key matches the hood. All right, let's see if we can hear this pump kick on. Oh, yeah. Prime it a few times. Make sure this thing fires up. It's going to crank hard because the battery's unplugged. Or not. It should be all good, buttoned up there. All right, the pump was successful. I want to move this thing and clean up that fuel spill that we had. And then I think we'll do the front lip, we'll do the exhaust, and then we might work on doing the suspension. Maybe we can wrap that up tonight. I don't know, we'll have to see. It's already 3:30. We should be able to if we continue to work hard. Our coolant leak is coming down the front of the timing cover from our upper radiator hose. So I'm gonna double check that's where it's from when I go up top. Tighten that down, and then we've got a little drip right here. Must need to tighten this hose down a little bit more. So while we are underneath the car here, I'm going to take off the NVIDIA exhaust, and we're going to put the OEM Subaru SPT exhaust on as long as it fits. It should be for the right car. And then we're also going to start the process of getting these KWs off and getting factory suspension with lowering springs on, and hope it sits similar to like it is now. I'm not really sure, but we're going to find out. We're also going to toss this lip on, and then I can't get the side skirts on, or the skirt extensions on with it on the lift, so I'm going to have to set it down and jack it up to do that. I'm going to make sure we fix our coolant leak. I'm probably going to put on the OEM under tray I have for this thing. And I think that's all I have planned. Let's see. Yep, fuel pump, that's done. The lip, suspension, and then we got to do some other stuff, but let's just knock out the stuff on the Wu-Tang car first. All right, that's pretty much the same. Oh yeah, I think that should be good. Just hold that piece there. There we go. That one. That one. That one. Now we can go that way with it. And we'll go over on the other side of by where Dad's truck goes. He scared me in my car today. He was in here in this car. SPT exhaust is on, and I like the quad tips better than just the two single tips. And it's a lot quieter, but still has some rumble, which is exactly what I was going for because I like a quieter daily driver. I had to do a questionable gasket setup here because this is supposed to use an OEM style seal, and this is supposed to use just a thin seal. And so I did a combination of both, and that got it to stop leaking. And look at this. This is from our KW coilover. That is why I said I'm going to take them off. I think they're blown, and I just want the lowering springs with OEM suspension. So these guys are done for. Somebody's going to need to do some work to those. That person's not going to be me. So I will sell them as needing a rebuild. Next on the list, I'm going to throw on this OEM front lip, or not an OEM front lip, just a front lip. But they look a lot better with a front lip on them. I believe our coolant leak is fixed. Just had to tighten down some radiator hoses. Then I would like to start getting the lowering springs on the OEM suspension, and then we can get them on the car maybe tonight. We're going to have to see if we get that much done. And I think that was about it on our list. And we're looking pretty good on this thing. Let's see if we can knock it all out tonight. These things are fairly easy to install. Nothing too crazy here. And I think they make a big difference. And I don't have carbon fiber front lip kind of money. So we're just going to stick with the eBay special. They look perfectly fine. Nice when it's already mounted up. I don't need to do any drilling or anything like that. The holes are already there. This one seems to fit pretty good too. So we've got some factory 2011 STI suspension off of our crashed white STI that we bought. And then we've got some Swift lowering springs, not the Spec R ones. These are the softer spring rate Swift ones because I'm just looking for as close to factory as I could. Nice and brand new. All right, now the tool I have to take springs off, not ideal, but we're gonna give it a try. We'll see if it works. I've done it before, so I can do it again. Got some Swift spring stickers. Maybe I'll put them on. This is kind of a sticker car because it's got a sticker down the whole side of it, so might as well sticker the rest of the back. 3-year limited warranty for on-road use only. Cool. I'm gonna throw the camera on time lapse. We'll get to putting these on, see how it goes, and then hopefully get these all swapped over tonight, get the thing dropped on the ground. So I'll see you after the time lapse. I wasn't too worried about getting the factory springs off. It was more putting the lowering springs on. We used the vehicle hoist and it worked pretty good. Definitely not the safest method, but I rolled with it. That's how not to put on a lowering spring. But it worked, so we're gonna do that for the rest. Hey, buddy. The windshield a little tricky for you? Good job, buddy. While my brother was inside, I got all the other factory springs off of the struts, and he helped me lower the lift so I could get all the nuts on top of the struts. And I tightened them all down, and it worked pretty good. Now it was time to swap them on the car. I just did one corner at a time, pulling off the KW, putting on the OEM strut with lowering spring. I usually kind of disassemble everything and then assemble everything, but I kind of liked this method. The fronts were the easiest. The rears, I kind of fought for a little bit, but it looks really easy on the time lapse. Our suspension is all mounted up. I've yet to set the car on the ground, and even when we do, it's going to take a little bit to settle. I'll have to go drive it, but you're going to get stuck in one of these cars one time. I took this mat off of the spare tire area. This is where the sub is held in place, and when I pulled it off, that screw and that screw was in the spare tire, and that spare tire is junk now. You can see holes there, and then there's another one somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but obviously that doesn't hold air anymore and it's not patchable. So that one's junk, but I just pulled the one out of our 2011 STI over there because that thing's getting parted out, so it doesn't matter. But now I got a good spare. I'm gonna clip off those screws so we don't puncture this one as well. Then we can mount the sub back up, get it all back together. And I'm gonna take it for a drive, get the suspension to settle, and then we'll see how it sits. I'm gonna pull it back in on this side so I can put these side skirts on because I can't put them on with it on the lift. I think that's gonna be about it for the Wu-Tang car. And then we got some more stuff that we're gonna be doing. I'll do a little sound clip too of the new exhaust. It is quite a bit quieter, but again, that was kind of my goal with it. I do like loud exhaust, but this is gonna be my daily driver, so I am sacrificing a loud exhaust for a little bit more comfortability, and we've got a wastegate on this thing, so I'm not too concerned about it. There, now those should not poke into our spare tire. It might rest on it a little bit, but by no means will they puncture it. So I love little sound systems like this in my daily drivers, but I'm not really an audio expert, and so it's nice when they already come pre-installed. This one seems to be really well done, sounds really good, so I'm happy with that. What's up, buddy? Oh, hello. What's up, buddy? Watch out. You'd probably fit right in that sub, wouldn't you, buddy? You just can't help yourself. There, in case we don't want anybody to see our sub, we can just do that. Hopefully that doesn't flap or anything. Shouldn't be that bad. Come on out. Come on. Dude, come on. Come here. Oh. I'm going to check the oil on this thing, set it down, torque the wheels, make sure there's coolant in it, which there should be. Our leak, I believe, is fixed. And we'll get this thing on a little drive, and then we'll pull it in on this side. Should be able to get these skirt extensions mounted up without putting it up on jack stands. Oh yeah, gonna be nice and easy. I'm gonna clean these off first. Nice and solidly mounted. On to the next side. One of my buddies was saying to me, he saw me drive by his house, and he said it's even funnier that I drive this car because I don't even know, or I didn't even know what Wu-Tang was before I bought it. And I'm just not, I don't have anything against it. I'm just not a Wu-Tang fan. Not my style of music. So it's even funnier that I drive it around like this because it's just not me at all. And somebody that would see it would think I'm a Wu-Tang fanatic and I don't even listen to any of their music. After buying this car, I did listen to some of their music, but I do not consistently listen to their music at all. So it's pretty funny. At least I think it is. Perfect. Next on the agenda, put away that exhaust, put away some of this extra stuff. But I also want to tear down this Cosworth long block, see what's going on in here. We got some ported cylinder heads at least, so I'm guessing maybe some cams. I'm guessing springs, retainers, maybe valves. I don't know if this thing's closed deck. I have no clue what this thing is, so that is going to be next after I clean up, and I'll show you pulling the cylinder heads off, see if we find anything interesting, but I will keep you guys updated. Now we are going to tear apart our Cosworth long block that is out of the WUBARU, the Wu-Tang STI. I fought these cam gears so much trying to get the bolts out. These Allens like to strip, and then you have to use a bolt extractor, which isn't a big deal on the intake side, but on the exhaust side, this usually sticks out about that far, and I couldn't get my bolt extractor in there. So I had to cut off this circle piece right here, which isn't a big deal for me because I throw these away anyways when they have bearing material in them. I don't like to use them, so not a big deal for me. And then I finally, thanks through the help of Company 23, a little ball peen hammer, and this Irwin, let's see what size this is, Irwin 11/16 bolt extractor. Through a team effort of my biceps, Company 23, and a breaker bar, we got these bolts out. So we'll pull the cam gears off, and that means we can start taking the cylinder heads apart. And I'm going to set up my camera on a tripod, and it's just going to be some jump clips, and we're going to see what we find. I don't know if it's a cam motor. I don't know if it's a closed deck motor. I don't know what it is, so we're going to find out together at the same time. One, I can't tell. I think these might be aftermarket cams. There we go. Uh-oh, that's out of the header. That's not supposed to happen. All right, let's see. Do we have aftermarket cams? We do. Cosworth cams. Didn't even think of that. That's pretty sweet. Cosworth S2 cams. ARP 2000 head studs. Cosworth S2 cams. Like I said, it looks clean in here. Moment of truth. Is it going to be closed deck? Does the head gasket look blown? What's the situation? It's not closed deck, but we definitely got coolant in this cylinder. Head gasket doesn't really look blown. Maybe right here. Definitely coolant in this cylinder. Let me dump this out real quick. We've only got one piston moving. Uh-oh, that's not good. We don't have a piston moving in cylinder number 4 here. That's not a good thing. Got some heavy wear on the cylinder wall there. All right, let's keep digging. All right, same thing. Looks nice and clean. Nothing crazy so far. Let's see if both of these pistons turn. They do. All right, let's get this oil pan off. Oh, what do you think it is?
Rod.
Well, yeah, but... Oh! Oh! Look at that.
Look at there's a bolt.
Oh, look at this right here. Look at that.
Wow, straighten it right out.
That's the rod cap. There's a rod bolt. And I just pulled out. Where did I put? Oh, here it is. There's the rod cap. And we're gonna pull this off. Pick up an oil pan before.
That they wanted 210 for.
It's a Cosworth rod too. That's sweet. Oh my word, that's a weird looking piston. Is that a factory piston? So as we sit, obviously we can see the destroyed stuff right over there. The block is destroyed, the crank is destroyed, the heads might be fine. So I talked to the machine shop and they said for $50 they'll clean everything and make it look nice. So I'm gonna pull it all apart, have them clean the block, the rods, the pistons, and I'm gonna have it be like a little display in my barn with the Cosworth tag on there and the Cosworth rods and all that stuff. The cylinder heads also have Cosworth retainers. I'll be thrown away, I'm sure. Oof, these bearings are roasted. Like, there is some damage. All the bearings were absolutely smoked as well. Look at these thrust bearings. I wonder if this is part of the failure. don't think they're supposed to look like that. Everything's torn down. Gonna take everything to the machine shop, have them clean it up, and we'll have it as some wall decor in the house. I'll glue this tag back on it once it's all cleaned up. So we'll have a Cosworth short block with, I think, an OEM Subaru crankshaft, but we'll keep it because it shows the damage. Cosworth rods, I think they're Cosworth pistons. They're not OEM Subaru, but they are cast. And of course our destroyed rod here. All these bearings are really smoked too, so I might keep those. So we got a bunch of stuff done on the Wu-Tang Subaru. We got our exhaust, our lowering springs. We got a base map on it. Next is just an oil change, and then Tuesday I'm gonna start driving it. Then we're on to some more projects. But if you enjoyed this video, I greatly appreciate you watching. If you wanna see more projects, maybe some burnout action with this blue one, some drifting, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Hope you guys are getting your projects done also, and I'll see you in the next video.